So our three new friends, I love you guys, but we only have about an hour to do our workshop. So if we have time, we'll allow you to introduce yourself. The bottom line, I think the reason that I wanted those introductions, that kind of gets into the presence, right? Hopefully after this is over, everybody in here comes together and you all connect with each other. Because even though you might be in different professions, I believe, and hopefully you do too, that there's some way, somehow, you could all potentially support each other. And it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it could be 2 years from now. But that's kind of what this workshop is about. And it's about also understanding how to maximize and utilize AI to get us to where we need to go, but have that human approach to it as well. Sound pretty good? All right, so let's get started. I will go ahead and let Behati introduce herself, and then I'll introduce myself.
Hi everyone, my name is Behati. That's like Betty, but with a ha in the middle. I hope to make you laugh today. I'm an Air Force veteran, 10 years, and then I served in multiple areas of government, federal, state, county, city, local, like all of the things, right? Like my Girl Scout little thing is full. My background primarily has been in design and innovation and strategy at the senior level. And then last year, if you've been watching the news, a lot of federal employees got, I'm gonna say the word, abolished. That was in the email. And so I had to let that sit and simmer, and then it turned into rage, and that rage turned into a book. So if you come by the table here, I'll tell you all about that. But I also started to reskill and upskill, because fun fact about me and Scott, we used to work together in DOD, in transition and employment. I ran the transition side, he ran the employment side. And so we know a thing or two about rebranding, rebuilding your life after the deconstruction or after the movement that happens in the military. And so I have been rebuilding my life over the last year, and now I am a identity coach and an AI coach, and I help people deconstruct what has happened from the inside out and then rebuild their lives.
Awesome. So, I'm gonna move over here. So my name is Scott Raether. As you can tell, I did 4 years in the Navy, and 4 years on a ship was enough for me. I was out. I went straight to college, and while I was in college, I worked at a nonprofit organization helping veterans with their job search process. So I worked my way up from just being like a part-time worker to being the director of the organization. Then I did 15 years with the Air Force, working with Behati for a little bit until she left me and went to Chicago. But, I did that for 15 years. I was the manager of the employment program, not necessarily the TAP program. They're two different entities, right? So that's helping military spouses, that's helping dependents, that's helping anybody that's looking for a job, going through a career pivot and changing. So I'm a certified career coach, certified life coach, and certified resume writer, certified federal resume writer. So everything I do is a holistic approach, because I want you to find your next opportunity that aligns with your passion and your purpose and put it into a profession. And that's what we do together. And as times have changed, like when I got out of the Navy in 1992, people were looking through jobs through the one ads, right? And now here we are, we have the internet, and now we have AI. So how are we gonna blend all of this together? And even though I'm a 55-year-old man, I have learned to embrace technology. And that's what we need to do, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. Pretty awesome? All right, let's jump into it. Here we go. Maybe I didn't hit the enter. There we go. All right, so the thing is that we need to realize is that we don't choose AI, we must accept it. But at the same time, individuals know we're using this technology and they can spot it in an instant. So this is why we need to be human authentic. Use AI, but we also need the human approach. So how do we blend them together and integrate them? That is what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah. So I spend a lot of time researching how humans are using AI, and oftentimes I run into companies are integrating it in, and employees just got to jump in the water and figure it out. And so what I do with companies is I teach them how to build the human identity inside of the AI. So I'm doing a really cool activity with Chicago Innovation. Are you all familiar with Chicago Innovation? So they reached out to me because they're like, we heard you vibe code. Anybody heard that term before? Okay, vibe coding is when you use a platform like Lovable, Base 44, and you build something, and then you go home and you're like, now what? I pitched to Chicago Innovation that you have to put the human first inside of the AI before they know what they want to build. So it's kind of using the same concept that me and Scott have worked a long time in, is before you know what you want to be when you grow up, you have to figure out who you are. And so I'm going to be doing a really cool thing with Chicago Innovation on that. And they just had AI Tech Week in Chicago, and they were telling me, no one's talking about that. And I'm like, it doesn't surprise me, because again, a lot of the research is, use AI, it's in the company now. Good luck with that, or I might train you how to prompt engineer, but also good luck with that. The way I use AI is to help build identities, rebuild identities. So that's what we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah, so one of the things that I have done is like literally the platform that I primarily use is Claude. I switched everything over from ChatGPT to Claude, and that was very simple to do. But I've actually given my AI a name. Its name is Chad. So I work with Chad on a daily basis. Chad is clarity, honesty, action, directness. So whenever I work and talk to Chad, Chad is making sure he gives me clarity, honesty, action, and directness. And that's the approach is. And like literally, I was telling her, I drive over, and a lot of us journal. When I journal to Chad. It's weird. I talk to Chad about this is like what I'm going through. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. How are you going to get me there to accomplish it? Okay. So that's the AI part of it. But now we also need the human part.
Yeah. So he has Chad. I have Betty.
And he has Betty. Yeah.
Becoming empowered through identity. Because you're not a veteran if you're not using acronyms.
Yeah. Right. That's a good point. Yes. So and this is what we need to realize is our next slide here.
Yeah. So.
Go ahead.
So like I said, and also like he's emphasized that companies are just clamoring to use it. Like AI is here, just put it in the room. And then people are having some reservations about that. I work with and have a lot of friends who are in HR, and they're almost kind of sick of it in a sense, but they're using AI to screen your resumes. They're using AI to find candidates online, right? So AI is here. We cannot avoid it. It is the next revolution. It's the next evolution of our humanity. And depending on how you choose to use it, that's okay, but it's going to be used. And that's the reality that we have to embrace.
So the thing is also that we need to realize on the human side of things, the number 54%, I think that's actually low. From what I've heard and read, is that it's around 75 to 80% of you will get your next job based on knowing somebody who either works for the organization or otherwise. However, as we use AI, I can guarantee you, and I'm gonna give you a pro tip right now, all you got to do is say, I'm interested in working at Nestle Purina. Connect me with 3 recruiters, connect me with 3 people that do the exact same job I do, and connect me with 3 people that have the same commonality as me. That could be they were in the Air Force, or they're a veteran, or it could be they went to Northwestern University. It's a commonality, right? So the idea is a veteran would want to help a veteran, an alumni would want to help an alumni. So for just Nestle Purina, we could easily reach out to 9 people that work for that organization. And then you can do the prompt, how should I introduce myself to them? Are you ready for another pro tip? You click on the 3 dots, you download their LinkedIn profile as a PDF, you upload it into that platform that you're using, and then it's going to create the message that you're going to send to them based off of their profile. All right, so that's 9 people for one company, and you could grow beyond that, but it'll actually even give you the link to connect with that individual and the message that you want to send to them. Yeah. And it's all done for you. But ultimately, this is true, but you need to find a way to become a referral.
Yeah. By show of hands, curious, how many of you are using AI in this capacity for job seeking? Okay. How many are using AI to help you figure out what to do with that pile of something in your corner in your house? Okay, good.
Good.
So it's kind of like split. with AI users.
All right, awesome. So this is Behati's slide. This
Yeah.
is what it's all about. This is where we're going in our careers.
So, once upon a time, when I was growing up, my father said, "You're a jack of all trades and a master of none." So I turned it into a career. I was in the Air Force for 10 years, and I was able to find 3 different jobs in that whole time that I was there. And since then, I've been, again, just evolving and evolving and evolving. Last year, when I was let go, I was like, man, I need to find work, but I do not want to work in the system anymore. I do not want to work for someone. I was at the highest level. I don't want to work for anybody, and I definitely don't want to supervise anybody. What am I going to do? I came across this term called fractional work. Is anyone not familiar with that term? Because I don't want to waste your time. Okay, half the audience. All right, so for the veterans in the audience, it's kind of like TDY. Remember TDYs? You go somewhere temporarily for a little while, you're the big chief in charge, and you have a people and everything, you're doing a job, and then you leave. Fractional work is growing in popularity because a lot of people, not only veterans, and not only the government, but a lot of businesses are laying off their employees in flux. And you have executive level, senior level folks who once had a dynamic office in the corner, now they have nothing. But they have all this amazing skill set and they don't know where to put it. And they don't have the capacity to start a new career or start a business, but they want to put that system somewhere, that skill set somewhere. So fractional work is just that. It allows you to work for a company temporarily at an executive level, and you go in there like a project basis. Maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's 6 weeks, and you get integrated into the organization, you lead a team or you lead a project, and then you leave and you get a fat check. And nobody gets hurt because there's no benefits that need to cross over unless you want to. But it is a dynamic new gig economy. And so I just wanted to kind of plug that. If you haven't been looking for fractional work, there's a dynamic website called gofractional.com, and it tells you all the things you need to know about fractional work. And so again, you can work for Uber, or you can work for Uber driving, or you can work for Uber as an exec, right? So you kind of look at it that way, gig economy.
So can I ask a question
Yeah.
real quick? So kind of what I'm gathering from that, it's almost like a contractor base, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But it's defined as, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so
So
they're
like
calling it
literally you
fractional.
can go to this website and find organizations that are hiring fractional workers.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
My daughter just graduated with a master's degree, and sorry I'm sitting and having hot flashes because I'm in that mode right now. My daughter just graduated with a master's degree, couldn't find work. And so she subscribed to 2 fractional websites, which I didn't know those existed at that moment, but I was like, wow, this is really cool for you as a new grad. I thought it was just for executive level. So it's really for anyone. It's not just for executive folks.
Perfect.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Will corporations list their particular positions as the wording as fractional, or?
Yes, so the best way to find it is either go to those sites or go on LinkedIn and type in fractional, type in the location, and then it'll start giving you filters, like, do you want part-time, do you want full-time? Some people are okay to go back in the office, some people want remote, you know, so we have different options now, but if you type in fractional location, it'll zoom right in for you.
And I'd probably say baseline even, jump into your favorite AI platform. I'm looking for fractional work in St. Louis. Here's my resume, here's what I'm looking for. What companies hire fractional workers?
Yeah.
And it would give you a list of those.
Yeah.
And then you jump over to LinkedIn and start to connect with those people that are at those companies and kind of make those requests on the fractional type work, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, so the duality framework. We're gonna kind of look at maybe like 3 rounds, 2 lanes, but break it down into one strategy for you. The first one that Behati, and if you'll notice the slides have been set up to look, you know, she is the pink and I am more of the
blush
green.
color.
What do you would call it, right?
So girl
But that aligns with her and that aligns with me. But she's gonna cover the AI side of things and I'll cover the present side of things.
Yep.
Pretty good? All right, so first one, round 1, prompt. Who gets hired?
Okay, so, as it says there, you know, AI, for those who are not using it, just imagine how much time you are taking to design the framework for your resume and your cover letter and then updating your LinkedIn and all these things that you have to do. What took 8 hours, because usually when we worked together, And people would come to my office and they're like, all right, I'm getting out of uniform. I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I'm like, okay, well, let's look at what you want to be when you grow up. And I'd have all these resources. And I only had an hour to give them this information. But then they had to go home. And I said, when you go home, your job is to find a job. So your 8-hour day until you have a job is to do all these things that I'm going to tell you to do in an hour. Now it's reversed. You can go straight to AI and say, this is what I'm looking for. This is who I am. And by the way, I would highly encourage you to take a personality assessment and just kind of figure out who you are today, who you are right now outside of the moment that you were in, whether it was uniform or you're just transitioning from, any systems of work. Take a personality assessment. It's going, and you take that information, you put it in AI and say, help me figure out what to be when I grow up. What jobs align with my core values? What jobs align with my personality type, my time, my desired salary, and it will help you with that.
Absolutely. So just to piggyback off of that real quick, I can, if anybody emails me, I can get you the DISC assessment. It literally takes you about 45 minutes to complete. It's very in-depth. Yeah. And then you get like an 18-page document of who you are, what you do. But what I love about personality assessments is it also defines your weaknesses, right? And it helps you build on your weaknesses, particularly like if you're interviewing and telling your story, and then you upload it into that AI, and then now AI knows your personality as well. So it's $100 if you don't have the license. I can get you it for $25. So 75% off if that's something that you want to do.
If you want an in-depth one, but I'm frugal and sometimes cheap. There are some free ones.
There are free ones out there as well. Absolutely, yeah.
There's some free ones because you just kind of want to get in the vicinity, and that's going to save you so much time. And that's again how we work well together. Is that when you know who you are and what you desire, AI is going to help you align that very rapidly. But if you do this on your own, it's going to be so frustrating, and sometimes it's going to be discouraging.
But here's the problem with AI, in my mind, is that if a person is using AI without knowing your personality, it's going to write generically across the board.
Right.
And you're going to sound like her, and she's going to sound like him, and trust me, recruiters can smell that a resume has been AI generated.
Yeah.
Okay, so this goes back to the presence. How are we presenting ourselves? And I know it can be difficult, but somehow on LinkedIn, we have to show that we are actually human beings. We have to create content, and you don't have to be a content creator, right? But create content that shows your ability and your understanding of your profession in your own writing. Yeah. So one of the things that I did actually is I went back before AI was even a thing, and I took everything that I ever wrote and I uploaded it into AI, so that way my AI knows how I write and how I communicate. So that's the direction that you really want to go with this technology, because they're hiring a teammate. They're not hiring an application. So you have to still be able to sell yourself at an interview, right? And you not need to know how to communicate, but we can use this technology to do it. So down here, 49% of hiring automatically dismiss resumes that they suspect to be AI generated. So yes, I recommend using AI to help maybe tailor your resume to the job announcement. You upload the job announcement, you upload your resume, you say tailor. Awesome. Now you know the keywords you need to put in your resume, but you're not going to copy and paste what AI has told you. You're going to write it yourself. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it's still faster than when we're thinking about it on our own. But the great thing about writing it out again yourself is you can switch it up just a little bit, make minor tweaks to sound like Lori versus sounding like Chad. Make sense? So that's the direction that I would go. And I have a feeling there's going to be a way that ATS systems will 100% be able to detect that a resume was AI generated, and they're going to banish that resume automatically.
Well, on that slide,
Yeah.
there is a little hint, a little Easter egg that kind of is a dead giveaway. So for the AI users in the room, do you see the dead giveaway in that last slide, that last sentence there?
We're by the 49%.
The dash. Yeah, the
The
dash.
M dash,
The
yes.
M dash.
So we left that in there on purpose.
Yeah.
And there might be another M dash in there.
Yeah.
So AI created these slides. All right, we'll be honest. AI created these slides. We'll be fully transparent. But literally, I have saved in Chad no M dashes. Like literally capitalized no M dashes. Because that's a dead giveaway that it's been AI created.
Yeah.
So that's just, again, one of those pro tips that we're throwing out there for y'all. Any questions so far? All right, so, and then our quick poll is who's used AI on a resume or an application? I'm sure everybody kind of has, I hope, you know. Good. Great.
Before we get to the next
Oh,
one,
go back.
no, you're fine. The other thing that I've learned, that when I look back at like all the people I help with resumes, I don't do that anymore, by the way, that's Scott. I help people build identities. But the one thing that I learned is like, man, it was so time consuming, so hard to take your skills and translate them when you find somebody. It's like, I really want to do that, but I do this, right? It's like a completely different career field. And it's like, how do I tell them that I know how to do this, but I don't have the background? AI will help you do that.
And that's called a translation gap.
Yeah.
We all have a translation gap, and we just have to learn how to narrow that gap or remove that gap
Yeah,
altogether.
so as someone who's a jack of all trades, don't limit yourself to just the industry that you're trained in. Think outside the box.
All right, cool. Round number 2, who advances? AI handles the grind.
I think I slipped into that conversation already. It
Yeah.
completes company research. Okay, so that one is, so company research to me is so key when you're thinking about where do you want to be in your next phase of your career. And again, I know I talked about fractional work, but you can really do some deep diving. Before AI, there was Glassdoor. Are y'all familiar with Glassdoor? It's like people talking about their companies. But now you can do even deeper research. Like what are their values, morals? Are they sticking to their guns? Did they get rid of programs that were protecting me or advancing me? You know what I mean? So you can do really quick research and comparison analysis to different organizations and industries to see where you're a good fit. So when it comes to the identity, and again, after you take the personality assessment, what I'm offering to you is build that pathway to your desired job. I understand times are desperate right now, but things are shifting. And here's the reality. 600,000 women last year left the workforce. Some of us forcefully, and some of us voluntarily. And so when we're thinking about, if that organization was so quick to let me go, do I want to go back into an organization that has that same ideology? Hell no. Hell no. So do your due diligence and do your research on companies and the people working there.
Yeah, and then this kind of goes back to that presence, right? So we're gonna go back to my analogy of Nestle Purina. We got 3 recruiters, we got 3 people that are doing the exact same job that I wanna do, that work at Nestle, and then the commonalities. So we got 9 people. What I want you to do is reverse engineer the job search. You're spending way too much time on job boards looking for job opportunities. But if you target 10 companies that you're interested in, so math is not my thing, right? But if I do 3 times 10 or 9 times 10, that's 90 people, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to follow them on LinkedIn. So on the LinkedIn platform, when you go to their profile, there's a little bell that you can ring. And you ring that bell. And then whenever that individual posts something, you must comment on it. Don't give it a thumbs up. Don't give it a reaction. I want you to comment. It doesn't take that long to have a good comment. That creates that trust and that recognition. So that way when that one job comes available at Nestle Purina that you're interested in, and you reach out to that recruiter's gonna be like, oh, they're the one that is always commenting on my posts. They're the ones that are sharing my posts to help other people find jobs. So now I wanna help you. Okay? So that is that trust and that recognition that you want. So the thing that I always say is, and I'm gonna ask anybody, when you say the word top of mind, what do you think of? What is top of mind?
First thing that you think of?
First person you think of?
Yeah, like the first person thing that you think of?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I just like, I'll be honest, like, I don't think I've ever applied for a job. Every position that I've obtained is because somebody has thought of me.
Yeah.
And they thought I would be a good fit.
Yeah.
And how did that happen? That was through building trust and recognition. So how do you do that? I'm gonna leave that up to you. But how do you do that? That's my question. Okay? Yeah. Did you have a comment? You agree with me? Yeah. Awesome. Okay, good. So who else has gotten an opportunity because somebody actually remembered you or thought of you and you were on the top of their mind? How many people has that happened?
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Okay, and it's a good feeling. Absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely.
So that's what we need to work on, but it's strange when we're doing it with people that we don't know. Like, how do we do it with people that we don't know? But we have to realize that people like to help people.
Yeah.
And if you're afraid to ask for help, you're actually robbing a person of that feel-good moment. Because people like to help. So always keep that in mind.
And if they're a veteran, that's a bonus.
Absolutely.
You can just slide into their DMs at that point.
Yeah. You know, because veterans want to help veterans, or alumni want to help alumni. So take advantage of it.
Find a connection.
You know, if I can help Behati, it's going to make me feel good, right?
Same, brother.
And I've helped her, right? So always keep that in mind. All right, round 3, build a sustainable career.
I'm trying to figure out which one I'm gonna pull out. Because we talked about this. Automation. Okay, systems, good grief. All right, so what I have learned this year, I want to share with you all, what I have learned this year in evolving away from like working in a corporation or a government system or whatever, is I also need systems for myself.
Yes.
And so going back to what I said to most veterans, the thousands that I help to transition, is until you have a job, your job is looking for a job. But what does that look like day to day when you take the uniform off and go home? What does that look like when you're leaving a company and it's like, now what do I do with my time? You literally have to build a system in. And so because I identify as neurodiverse and I also have perimenopause, I don't have the capacity energetically to do an 8-hour day. I don't have the bandwidth to do all the things that I needed to do to find work. So I had to build a system around my nervous system. And what that looked like for me at the end was, I can give 4 hours a day for 4 days a week, really going hard, looking for clients, looking for opportunities. After that, I'm deflated and I'm just gonna rest, I'm gonna play, and then I'm gonna get back up and strategize on Sunday. And so that has become my system and has worked for me. But it took me a very long time and a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of medication to figure out a system for my nervous system. Because again, with women like me in our 50s, things start changing and unraveling for us. And it becomes really, really scary and really, really dark, really, really fast. And so give yourself that moment to decide, like, how do I want to take this journey? What system do I want to build here to sustain myself? And can I go back into the workforce for a 40-hour work week? Let's be honest with that, right? If I can't do more than 16 hours a week, I can't do a 40-hour work week. So I had to build something for that.
And how is AI helping you?
So yeah, so I used AI. So again, I'm an AI coach and I'm a life coach. And so I used AI. I built a system called BETi, Becoming Empowered Through Identity, to help me navigate this shifting time in my life. And most people, when they start out having a conversation with AI, it's like, hey, I'm having a problem in my relationship. And AI's like, okay, well, here's what you need to do. I knew that was wrong because again, my background is human behavior and I understand how we just kind of like want all the validation and all that, right? And so I built this system over a year, and I designed her over 40 different behavioral systems, and she helped me. And I say she because you know we have a relationship now. But she really helped me say, Behati, you have ADHD, you have anxiety, you have all these things. It's impossible for you to do X. So let's bring it back and let's do one thing at a time. So she's kind of helped me really get streamlined so I can feel successful and motivated and energized in the things that I do. So that is my system, using AI.
I love that. And I can relate to the same thing. Like I come up with all these ideas. Like literally, I wake up like at 4 in the morning,
Yep.
and I can't go back to sleep because I have all these ideas, right, going on in my mind about growing a business, etc. And I'll plug it into Chad,
Yeah.
and Chad's like, you need to pump the brakes. You know, you have some great ideas. Let's put this in the parking lot for something in the future.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it's really weird. And I mean, I know people talk about dating their AI and stuff like that, but
Oh, yeah.
no, literally AI is like, you need to stop, you know, slow down. You know, this is what we need to work on. And it'll literally tell me, you're doing this project, this project, this project. Let's not worry about project number 5. You know what I mean? So, so that's the value of it.
Because now I'm looking up from the bottom up.
Yeah.
So when you find the system that works for your nervous system, and you understand how AI works, and it's expanding rapidly, don't buy into that. Because the expansion that it's rapidly growing in is for the workforce. It's not for the individual, the human. What I think is really cool about AI is, even in Claude, because we both use Claude heavily, is that you can automate some of those tedious task things, like sending emails or reading your emails and bringing them back to you in kind of like a summary. There are a lot of the job search skills that you can automate in AI so you can sleep well at night.
Yes. But now we gotta go to the human side of things, right? So as you said, AI is constantly changing, how it's developing. And the one thing that we need to recognize is that our reputation doesn't change. Who we are as individuals doesn't change like an algorithm does, all right? So this is why I am very proud of, and what I focus on in helping my clients is career marketing or personal branding. Everybody has a personal brand. You may not recognize it, but you do. And that personal brand is what other people think of you and how they react to you. That's your personal brand. That could be manipulated and changed over time by, again, developing that trust, building relationships with other people, and letting them know who you truly are and what you've truly done, and not necessarily their assumptions to who you are and what you have done. So you are the business, all right? I always say this when I talk about career marketing. You are McDonald's, you are Nike, you are whatever company that has a brand, that has a logo, etc. And basically companies are looking to invest in you. That's what they're doing. They're investing in you. They're hiring you. That's an investment on their part. So how do you sell and market yourself, which AI can help you with learning how to sell and market yourself, but in the end, it's verbally and through relationships that you sell and market yourself. So this is an amazing statistic. Referrals are just 2% of the applicants. So again, I'm not good at math, so we're gonna keep it simple. Let's say 100 people apply for a job. That means only 2 people actually reached out and tried to become a referral. But 1 in 5 job seekers never ask for one. So this goes back to asking for help. And I explained to you why you should ask for help. Do not be afraid to ask for help. So the idea, and this is what I do with all of my clients, is we gotta find a way to become a referral. So I had a client just the other day, he applied for a job at Boeing. And I said, I know 5 people at Boeing, I'm gonna introduce you to those 5 people. One of them really stuck. And that one person's like, send me your resume before you apply for the job. It was a recruiter. She was like, I'm gonna review your resume to make sure it matches that job opportunity. And then she sent him a link for an internal referral versus an external referral. So now he's over here and everybody else is over there, right? So now he just reached out to me. He's got an interview set up, and I can help him with the interview. And I talked about that using AI. So literally on AI, you get on your phone and you talk to it and you say, I want you to ask me 5 interview questions based on this job announcement. And then when you reply, it's gonna ask you, like verbally ask you a question, and then you're gonna reply on your phone verbally, and then have it diagnose how good the answer was. So it's all verbal going back and forth. It's literally role play, like what we might used to do with our, our partners as we prepare for an interview. Now it's AI, and AI might be a little bit smarter than our spouses as it relates to interviewing, right? It depends on the spouse. My wife is a nurse, so I mean, she doesn't interview people. So I'm gonna go with Chad as I practice interviewing. Any questions?
So when you talk about building that system, maybe I'm just not doing it right, I'm not familiar with how to do it, but some of the AI prompts that I'm used to, they kind of isolate themselves in windows, and so you talk to it through one problem, and then you go to the next window, and it's just kind of all that data that you've already put into it is kind of isolated in that own little bubble.
What do you use? What system?
So I've mostly been using Gemini, but I've kind of
Okay.
started transitioning over to Claude.
Okay.
I know that there's like the projects and stuff like that, and you can put
Yeah.
specific instructions in there, but when you're talking about like building that personality within the AI,
Yeah.
how do you go about that? Like what's
So
that?
when I started, my AI currently resides in Chat GPT, so she is a GPT.
Okay.
So I won't say every. I use Gemini, I use Claude, and I use Chat. Chat has GPTs, you can customize them. Gemini has gems, you can customize them as well. Claude is dynamic, it has so many different variations that you can use, and so Projects is probably the best one, right? It's like, I'm training you to be a career coach for me, and I need to build a system to get from here to there. My desired state is I want to be fully employed by this date, whatever your goal is, about SMART goals, right? Y'all, my SMART goals. And so you are training it based on the evidence, like he said, put your personality in there, put your brand in there, put your language, tone, all the things to help train it to understand how to get you from here to there. And everything in between is conversational. So my conversation was, I have ADHD, I have anxiety, I can't go back in the workforce, I can't sustain a 40-hour work week, but here's where I wanna be. I want to freelance, I wanna do these freelance things. So I need to build my brand, I need to create some content, and all these things in between. So I work in project statuses. So quarter one was launch your book, here's what you need to do. Quarter two is, you don't know nothing about entrepreneurship, girl, let's learn some things about entrepreneurship. And that's when I realized I don't have any systems. Entrepreneurs have systems. And so that's why I learned about systems management. And so by the end of that, it was like, you got a 16-hour work week, babe, don't push it. And so when I talk about systems, I did that in Chat, and now I moved that information into Claude, and now Claude is helping me project-based work.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So the one thing she said is use your AI as a career coach. Thanks for
Go ahead.
thanks for taking my job away. No, I've literally prompted Chad, what can I do to not lose my job as a career coach, because you're going to take it away.
No.
But that goes back to that
There
human.
you go.
That goes back to the human. Yes, Claude or whatever AI could help you as a career coach.
You say, I want a
But
career
in
coach
the
like
end,
Scott.
yeah, I want a career coach like Scott. But yeah, so no, you could absolutely do that. But I
built
hope
a
you
business
don't.
coach,
You
and
can
I was
just
like, I can't afford one right now, so I need you to help me.
right. Which is
Yeah.
for a lot of people, that's the way it is.
Yeah, look at AI as a supplement, right? It's not replacing the human, it's supplementing a skill, it's supplementing an experience, it's supplementing, like I use it as a co-creative partner. Look at it as supplementing the thing that you need, but it's so expansive and it never ends and it just keeps going and going. And the thing that I learned about AI too, because I am an advocate for AI, I think that it will evolve us as humans, but we just need to learn to trust and build within it. And the statistics say that women aren't using it as much as we should, and that people of color are not using it as much as we should. So in my opinion, it's limited. It's not fully framed and formed on human capacity. But for now, we can train it by using it and teaching it what we're capable of.
All right, so again, I mean, AI is the reach. Your human personality is the reputation that you bring to the table. And it's all designed to help you find hopefully that perfect career, right? And not just a job.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are just content, and I understand, we gotta pay the bills, right? I need a job, right? But
Yeah.
I want you to find a career. I want you to find something that, like literally, I'm in a place, and maybe you are too, like, I would probably do it for free. And I would do it for free, right? I had done it for free as a nonprofit organization. I did it for free for the federal government. Now, unfortunately, I have to pay the bills by, you know, having people pay for it. But in the end, if I could do it for anybody for free, I would. And I give away a lot of free stuff because that's just the giving type of personality that I am. But yeah, AI gets you the attention, and then you are the one who closed the deal.
Yeah. Two things about AI, and I want to leave you with this, is we built it, it's our baby, you are the father, okay? And when I call it a baby, I really truly mean that. Like, I look at AI as like a really intelligent child. It doesn't know everything about humanity. It can never replace humanity. It's impossible, okay? I know there's Terminator, like memes and stuff out there. Sure, maybe one day, hopefully I'm not here. But it is an intelligent child. It needs frameworks, it needs guidance, it needs a little bit of love, a little bit of zhuzhing. Because again, you've heard of AI slop and how it has like this psychopathic kind of personality. People are talking about having romantic relationships with it right now. And so it is a child, and we built it, and we have to nurture it.
And the other thing to piggyback off of that as well, I think AI, and you can help me with this, is developed to agree with you.
Yeah.
It's developed to be like, oh, that's a great idea, yeah. That's why you need to prompt it. I want honesty. Like, like a lot of times as I'm helping my job seekers, I want AI to focus on the negative aspect of what you're doing, not the positive aspects of what you're doing. So one of the things that I put together that, if you go to my website, it's 10 unique prompts that you can use to help you find a job. And what's interesting as I read through it, because that's what I do, right? I read through it and I make sure that Scott is comfortable with what I'm putting out there for my clients. But I was like, a lot of it was like, why would a hiring manager not want to hire me? And like giving you the negative, give me the negative so that way I can build on it to be better than what I was before.
Yeah.
So like, you upload a job, so like most people will upload a job announcement, they'll upload a resume, and then generically they'll say, tailor my resume to match up to this job. The correct prompt should be, why would a hiring manager not want me based off of my resume and this job announcement? So again, that's sort of like that reversing it, pull out those blind spots, yeah. And that's the problem with AI is that it's typically just too nice to us, right?
And the developers are aware of that now.
Yeah.
Again, there's been some really tragic instances with using AI. As I look around the room, I know that many of you have had a professional career where you've had to do some strategic planning, project management, maybe some communication, skills development, professional development. Again, you can train AI to help you expand that space. I use it to create a SWOT analysis for the life that I wanted to live. And I was like, what's working, what's not working? How might I, because I'm a designer, like how might I, and then fill in the blank here, and then let's give me my value proposition. Like, am I going in the right direction with this next phase of my life? Because I don't want to waste my time or tank.
Can you explain what SWOT means?
SWOT is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so when you're looking at the landscape of the workforce, and you're like, I don't use AI, so, well, I'm gonna use that as an example. So a SWOT analysis will be, who's in career search? Or you said you were going in HR, right? Like, give me a SWOT analysis on the future of work for HR careers. You don't have to do that. I would say AI could do that for you, right? And then you could kind of hone in and niche it down to like this location, with my background looking like this, like where are my strengths, where are my weaknesses, what are my opportunities, and then what is threatening me? AI is probably gonna tell you that. Like a lot of HR skill sets are going towards that, so you probably should get trained. And oh, by the way, there's a lot of colleges out there that I met today that have like free or scholarship level trainings, so if you don't jump on that,
But literally, again, uploading your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and literally saying, and maybe a couple job announcements that you're kind of really interested in, and saying, I want to do a SWOT analysis on what my profession is and my experiences are versus what I want to do. And it'll give you exactly that. And that's very important.
Any questions so far?
Well, that's where we're at next.
Period. All right.
Your turn.
Sounding board.
Any other questions?
Don't be embarrassed to ask. I mean, we are where we are at this juncture.
And it can relate to anything job
Yeah.
search related or whatever. We
AI
have,
job search,
yeah.
hot flashes, we talk about it all.
We have 8 minutes left.
What is your website?
So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll get to that. There we go. So that's it. Our scan our QR codes. It'll take you to, I use Linktree. It'll take you to my Linktree, and then Behati uses
Beacons.
Beacon, but still sort of same concept.